consider doing that in Kenyatta University where I am. Because wherever I go, I usually say that my institution is the best. And even you, when you're here, you say your institution is the best, and others ones. So that is who I am. Today I'm here to talk about something that is quite passionate. I don't know why it is not projecting.
It's not projecting. Expert, kindly come and help.
Uh, and the title of what I would like us to discuss today, sorry for those who have just come in, I've requested that I handle this when I'm seated. I've been standing for the past 2 hours. So I'm a bit tired. Yes?
Come and help.
Oh, it's almost. Oh, okay, fine. So the topic of what I would like us to, but because she's recording, let me just stand. What I would like us to address today is that your well-being is your success. So we are looking at the power of a teacher health in learning outcome. What is it that you expect? What you expect in terms of the learning outcome for your learners? And so your well-being, that is you as a teacher, is actually your success of yourself as a person. It also reflects in terms of what it is. I want to begin by saying that as teachers, when we get into the teaching profession and start teaching, over the years, we learn to pour out our hearts and our souls into what we are doing, into our work. And this is also what translates into shaping the future of our learners. That's why I'm saying that your health is very important in shaping the future of the learners that you are given a responsibility to. And so, as a teacher, you have a lot of commitment to education. And your commitment goes beyond the textbook that you are given by KICD. It goes beyond the content that you carry in class with you. It goes beyond so many things that traditionally you are doing. And therefore, we are simply saying that it goes beyond the lesson plans that we are required to have every other day when we go to class. Because when we start teaching, or when we started teaching, I know we were told that every lesson must be accompanied with a lesson plan. And over the years, when you get used to teaching, you decide to go to class without the textbook, without a lesson plan, because you say, my information is on my fingertips. I'm an old-time teacher, and therefore I need not carry the lesson plan with me. I know the procedure, I know the steps, I know the game. And so we are saying, or I'm saying today, that the responsibility that is given to you as a teacher goes beyond those textbooks. It goes beyond the notes that you're doing. It goes beyond the syllabus that you're given by KICD to cover. And so, you as a teacher, you are a great influencer of the learner. You influence the emotions of your learners. You influence the confidence that the learners will have. You influence the overall success of the learners that you have. And all that is upon your health status. How is your health status? How is your mental health? So remember, you're always an influencer. Those learners are looking at you and they are learning from you because you are a model. When I am in front of you here, whatever it is that I'm covering, I am a model to you. What you will carry from me, you will go and model it to the learners that are waiting for you. So you are a great influencer. A teacher, therefore, is somebody who is given a life to mold. And so if you are given that life to mold, you can make or break that life. That learner who comes to you from one at a very early age, given to you by a parent, given to you by the Ministry of Education, you have the responsibility to mold this person into getting into engineering, getting into medicine, getting into any career that they can choose. And that is why one of the philosophers at one time said, give me a dozen healthy children, and I will make out of them the kind of a person I want them to be. And so this is the teacher. Give me that normal child at the age of 13 years, and I will help this learner to get into the kind of a career that they can get or they are possibly capable of getting into. And this convinces me that you, as the teacher, you hold the lives and the successes of these learners. But for you to help them to be able to get that which they can possibly be, you need to be in a stable mental health. And that is why the topic that we are covering today is very pertinent to us as teachers. It's very dear to us as teachers. Because the first question that I ask myself is, yes, I'm given that responsibility as a teacher. And that is what my principal expects me to do. But now look at me. Who is taking care of me as a teacher? Who takes care of you? Whom do you go to? God. Is that the way we are supposed to do? Is that what we are supposed to do? Because by her saying that the person who takes care of me is God, the Almighty, it is because she knows, or over the years, the experience that she has not had somebody thinking about me, the teacher, who is supposed to take care of all these learners that come into my class every day, whom I'm supposed to mold to be as a constructive and productive citizen in this nation. So, who supports you as a pillar to this endeavor? She's saying God. And how do you ensure that you uphold the education that, or the knowledge that they're supposed to go through, the education that we impart onto them to such an extent that they become that kind of a person that we want them to be? So today, I want us to reflect on how our well-being is not just essential to ourselves as teachers, but also our well-being has a direct potential or has a direct link to the academic success of our learners. A healthy teacher produces healthy results. A teacher who is not healthy will automatically be the vice versa of the same. So, when we are thinking about teaching, personally I'm a teacher because of a teacher. I decided to be a teacher when I was in Form 2. And the reason why I did that is because of a teacher by name Farida, whom I've never met from the time I finished Form 4. And wherever I go, I talk about Farida. And I always say, if you know Farida, please tell her that I always look for her, just to tell her, Mwalimu, you did very well. And I'm a teacher because of you. Farida was our literature teacher. She, according to me, had read the literature books and she had mastered them to the extent that she would come to class, sit on a desk like this one, cross her legs like this. You see what I'm doing? The way teachers do. On top of her desk, and it's a lady. She crosses her legs like this. And she would talk about those books. She would talk about those books. She would do the characterization. She would do the plot. She would do the things. Yummy. You look at her and you're like, my goodness, that is what teaching is all about. When I went to the university, I met a professor. And this professor came to talk to us one time as just a team of staff members. The way he was talking, the way he was handling things, the way he was responding to questions, it motivated me so much that I said, if I will never be anything else, I want to be a professor. So today I'm aspiring to be a professor. Who are you aspiring to be? I'm just saying this to show you how teachers are important. That person who stands in front of a learner, how important you are, and how important your mental health is for you as a person to be successful and for the learner to be successful. I'm saying this because as a teacher, you're supposed to be a mentor, especially in the current dispensation of CBC. You are supposed to be a mentor. You are supposed to be a counselor, and you're supposed to be a disciplinarian at the same time. Can you do the three of them? If it is the deputy who is here, the deputy is a disciplinarian, the deputy is a counselor, the deputy is a mentor. She has to do all those things within the same hands. And that is why deputy principals are never popular with the students. Are they popular? No. They are never popular. In most cases, they are never popular. Because students associate them with the disciplinary actions. They associate them not with the teaching so much, but because the teacher will kill me, the teacher will, tell me, the teacher will, give me time out, the teacher will do 1, 2, 3 things. And therefore, they are usually not very popular with them. But I'm trying to say this, that your role as a teacher has actually increased over the years with the coming of CBC. Especially now that we are saying you're supposed to be a facilitator of learning and not to be the traditional teacher of those days when you are trained. Currently, we are talking about CBC. These children are already coming to you. Is it next year? Yes. Are you prepared to have them? How are you prepared in terms of your work as a teacher and in terms of other responsibilities that you are given so that you can bring up and mold this productive citizen? But in the process, we always find ourselves drifting into mental health issues. Most of the time, teachers find themselves getting into issues that they themselves cannot be able to handle. Much as we are saying, you as a teacher, you need to cancel that. If you're tired, you cannot inspire those learners. If you're tired, you cannot inspire colleagues who require your inspiration. And also, a stressed heart cannot nurture, because we nurture others from within our hearts. If I do not have what it takes to nurture another person, if I'm stressed as a teacher, I will not be able to nurture another teacher to progress in their career. I will not even give clue to any other friend of mine who requires to know what it is that I've done over the years to get to where I am. Because we need to grow in our careers, because that story in our careers is one of the sources of mental health among teachers. You find yourself in the same grade for 20 years. You are not moving. You have done your master's. You are not getting promoted. You are not becoming a deputy. You are just at the same place. You have asked for transfer. You are not moving. You have taken loans, nothing is working for you. So all these issues are translating into mental health issues that are disturbing teachers and that are making them not to offer that which they are required to offer to our learners, because it is important to do so. A renowned psychologist by name Daniel Coleman, in his book, Emotional Intelligence, highlights something very, very important. And he talks about how the emotional state of a teacher directly influences the emotional climate in the classroom. If I had enough time, I would demonstrate how this happens. If you get to class, madam, and you had a fight with your husband, what do you teach? What do you teach? What do you teach? You don't teach. You don't teach? You will not teach much. No, I'm asking which subjects do you teach? English. So if, and I'm sorry to use you as an example, sorry, and it will not happen. You had a fight with your husband, and your children are on the side of your husband. They're saying, Mom, you're the one who's on the wrong. And you're supposed to teach English that day. Can we see you teaching English? Just stand up and teach that English. Stand up and teach that English. Let's see you teaching that English. You're very annoyed. Your children are on the side of your husband, and you will still go back to the same house in the evening. Here there is Madam Fanny is telling you must teach. You must go. She doesn't understand whether you had issues last night. Let's see you teaching. 1 minute teaching. Just teach. This is your class now. Assume these are your students. Good morning. Man, what are you doing? That is exactly how we teach. And we do that unconsciously. And it shows itself so well. it shows it. Learners are able to detect, learners are able to know when you have issues that are underlying and that have been unresolved. And therefore, when we carry all those baggages with us to class, then we are saying that this is going to affect the learners. But at the same time, remember as a teacher, you cannot live devoid of those issues. They will happen anyway. There's a time my daughter told me, "Mom, you're not my mom." And I'm supposed to start a lesson in the morning at 7 to 8 I have a class. And she tells me, "Mom, the way I see you, you don't look like you're my mom." Saa hiyo si mtu mdogo, saa hapo ni over 30 years. And I'm looking at her and I'm asking her, "Sure. Everybody tells me my nose looks like yours. My eyes look like yours. And you're telling me, Mom, can we go for DNA?" Sure. And that's my daughter. Over 30 years, and I'm supposed to go to class. What am I supposed to do? So, this is where now emotional intelligence comes in. And if you do not exercise emotional intelligence, knowing how far an issue can take a toll in you such that it doesn't translate into you being negative to the other person. It doesn't translate into having your job. It doesn't translate into you being absent of school because you have those issues. You must exercise what we are calling emotional intelligence. And this is what this person is talking about in his book. And so if we step into the classroom, when we have all those baggages, then we are going to make a lot of blunder in the class. We are going to raise anxiety for our learners. We are going to raise emotions. Our learners are going to be frustrated. At the same time, we are also going to be frustrated. I have seen a teacher one time when I was doing social practice in one school, yet we say in educational psychology, we don't support caning in school. I don't know whether you can, and it is against the policy of the Ministry of Education. So we tell our teachers when we are training them, cane at your own peril. And we also ask this in psychology, does caning give the required results? When you cane somebody, how do you feel? You feel you have done it, isn't it? Hiyo imekutoka, maliza ikutoke, si ndio? So now, when you came and you're used to doing that, and there is this boy who comes and does something wrong and just came and you don't bother to know what is wrong with this boy. And the boy there that he just comes and gives you the hand, you only give him 10. And then he gives you the hand like this. So you give 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. And then after you finish the 10th one, the student's hand is still there. How do you feel? Of course you have done nothing, isn't it? And then the boy just swags and goes to sit where he needs to sit. Now that one makes you feel more frustrated. And it adds into your mental health issues because you are like, what is it that I should have done which I did not do? How should I have handled this issue from a psychological point of view? Because I'm a teacher. And as a teacher, you need to fall back into your learning those days, what you are taken through, so that you can ask yourself very quickly, how do I handle this from a psychological point of view so that I get the desired results, I get satisfied that I've actually achieved, and the student also is helped, so that none of you is frustrated. When we have these issues also, we end up in what we call burnout. And when we have this burnout, we can't proceed. You can't work, the learners can't work. You get frustrated because of your burnout, you can't even go to class. You hear that you are going to this class and you start asking yourself, will I really finish those 40 minutes in that class? Sometimes you wait until 10 minutes are over so that you have only 30 minutes in that class because you just don't feel like doing it. You're tired. There is a student who is frustrating you somewhere, and that is translating into your mental health issues. Unfortunately, we are like that. And sometimes what we do, I will not teach you. Come for me in the staff room when you are ready to be silent. So you go back to the staff room, and then you sit there. Are you silent now? When you ask, why are you in the staff room? That class is very noisy. What is the issue here? Why are you frustrated? This is a mental health issue because that should not warrant you going back to the staff room and leaving a class untaught. Why are we saying this? Because they have a right to be taught by you. For those 40 minutes, it doesn't matter whether they were noisy or whatever chaos was going on in that class. they have a right to be taught by you. Devise methods of dealing with those issues. That is how you end up getting into mental health issues, because you are not able to deal with those small issues when they arise in the class. So, briefly, what are some of the major issues that make teachers drift into mental health challenges? One of them is the workload and job demands. Workload, and I know that's a common issue, and the demands of your job. You know you had a deal that you wanted to go and do in Mombasa, and you know you are supposed to be on duty, and you know there are so many things that you need to do. You are supposed to be training students for example. You know there's this and this and this, and you have your personal bills. So that workload is not helping you. So when there is excessive administrative tasks that are given to the teachers, that work of lesson planning, that work of marking, it becomes a burden to the teachers. The deputy is here. Where is the deputy?
So just go now, try.
The senior teacher is here. Who gives the workload? Who gives the workload? Okay. Mwalimu, what we are saying is this. I know these teachers are given by the ministry, but teachers are drifting into mental health challenges. And this is because of the workload and the administrative duties that they are given by the school. And I'm also asking, is there something that the school can do? And most likely, not much. Yeah, because this, you are given the allocation as per the TSC, given the number of teachers that you require to have. We also have large classes. When you have a large class of about 55, 60, and you cannot be able to mark all the inches, all the compositions, and they are needed within 2 days, and you are not able to multitask, this translates into what? Mental health challenges. Welcome, madam. Yes. So this translates into mental health challenges, and some teachers cannot be able to multitask. Although women usually say men are the ones who cannot multitask, but these days everybody has a challenge when it comes to multitasking. No 2 point something, isn't it? When you're looking at her face, what will be in your mind? Yes. After disappointment. Yeah? Feeling bad. Feeling bad is very general. What is this feeling bad? One, the principal might think this Mwalimu is not up to the task. Yeah? He cannot make it. There is another Mwalimu somewhere who told the students, since I have taught in this school for the last 4 years, the best grade that I've been able to produce in math is a C minus. And he's telling our students is a C minus. So what is he telling these students who are in Form 1? That the best that you can get is a what? C minus. Yeah? So don't be that kind of a teacher. So the expectations that we set for ourselves must be realistic. I have a child in school. For ourselves must be realistic. I have a child in school in Form 4. And when we are called for academic days, and then we go around, the way you also do, you go around, all the teachers, they are telling you, they are telling you, they are telling you. So I get to this teacher, yes, tell me about my son, what is wrong? Your son is not reading. Can you promise to get an A in this subject? Yes, he has a C minus. And then I look at that teacher, of course, I don't say who I am, but I look at that. A minus? Yes. I say yes, because the teacher is saying, promise to get an A minus. And I'm saying yes, yet I'm not the one who is going to read. Since my son is going to read. So now when I say yes, C minus to an A, is that realistic? So I'm left telling the teacher, we have said, now when my son is not hearing, we have said that we are getting an A minus, but Mwalimu, allow me to get a B minus so that my son doesn't feel disappointed. You see, I'm not saying that in front of my son so that he doesn't feel like I'm defending him. So let us set realistic goals that we can be able to achieve so that when it comes now to our workload, it doesn't translate into mental health challenges. Secondly, the working conditions. How are our working conditions? This environment, for example. Lack of adequate teaching materials. Now this one translates into the principal, not anybody else. Is the principal providing? When you go to the lab, when you go to the homework room, when you go to the physics and chemistry lab, are the facilities required for you to perform as a teacher? Are they there? Are they provided by the teacher? If the blackboard like this one, you're not given a felt pen, how do you demonstrate? How do you put illustrations on the board? You have the knowledge with you as the teacher. Now, if you're not given that pen to be able to write on the board, have you be able to provide to do that? Why should it translate into your mental health issue? Why? Why should you be disturbed by it? What is the best that you can do? Chukua manila paper, andika usiku, chora kwako usiku, kuja weka hapa kwa secretary, because we don't have something to write. Because now we cannot allow the learners not to get the concepts that they need to get because we don't have the materials. But some of the materials are very, very important that you cannot improvise, isn't it? Like the reagents in the lab and all those other things. They should not translate into your mental health challenge. Let that be the headache of the principal. Throw it to her so that she can know how to throw it to the ministry. So that when the ministry is demanding that you get 10 point what? Now the principal can say, we did not have 1, 2, 3, and we wrote to you, and you did not respond, and this is a clear illustration of what is reflected in our results. You don't have to go mad. It doesn't have to be your issue. And that is why we talk about escalating an issue. You escalate. It is not your issue, so you don't have to die with that kind of a problem. Student behavior and discipline issue. Now this one is on the deputy. She doesn't have to die with it, Mwalimu. This one has to have structure laid in the school such that these are the school regulations, and the whole of these members here can help you implement what you need to be implemented in the school with the support of the principal. So you don't have to come here with your blouse inside out because your head has gone nuts. Yeah, you don't have to, because these are things that can make you go mad. They can make you go nuts. You know, you have very many students around, isn't it? And for you to reach to each one of them, you require the support of all the teachers in the classroom. You can't do it alone. And with the support of the principal, it doesn't have to be a bargain. There's sometimes bullying, and there's also lack of support in some schools, but I want to believe in this school there is enough support. Job security and career uncertainty. Some of us probably are employed by the board. If you don't do what the principal tells you to do, you're always looking like, hey, I'm telling you, I don't do. You are late for school, you come panting. You get sick. Can you have confidence in what you're doing? Just do it and do it well. Because when people are having job insecurities, when they are not very sure about their career, because of whatever reason, then there's a possibility that you can easily drift into a mental health challenge. Lack of support system, you need support. Support from each other. Support from the top to bottom. You need that people. You need the driver. You need the groundsman. You need everybody. So let's treat each other with respect. That person who is in the lab technician is very important. Without that person, you can't move. Without the cleaner of the toilet, you can't move. So we need to be well nested such that nobody feels left out in terms of support. And when we are well nested, Mwalimu, I usually don't allow my students to sleep when I'm talking because I'm usually a very rough teacher. Very rough teacher, and I usually see my students when they sleep, unfortunately, because I believe I'm a very good teacher, like Farida. So I told you I related Farida, she was my role model, isn't it? Farida, you could not sleep in class because she was looking at you on the eye, and she would ensure that there is that eye contact whenever she was talking. So I'm seeing you when you close your eyes. I know you are tired, but when you close your eyes, I'm seeing you. So when there is that support, it becomes very easy for a school to learn. Work-life balance. Some of us here may not be married. Some of us may have married, but it didn't work. Some of us may have been married and our spouses left us. Now, does that mean that you kill yourself? Does it mean that you go nuts because that has happened? And Mwalimu is saying here that you cannot date somebody whom you're in the same classroom with. Is it wrong, by the way, Mwalimu?
No, it's not.
So, is it somebody who is not married? Somebody who is not married? Are you married? I'm seeing like you're the others. So, if you find somebody whom you can patch up with in the staff room, usiwapige Mwalimu. Unawasupport. That is great. That is great. And I'm saying this because we need to have a work-life balance. This teacher is here for the better part of the day, from 8 up to 5. This teacher is not allowed to go to Mombasa, to Mangamanga, looking for somebody, because if you're looking for somebody for a suitor, you cannot look for that suitor when you're just glued in the staff room. You need to go and take tea, isn't it? You need to date somebody and take coffee with this person. How can you do that when the principal is calling you? You can't. And if you have been left, mbio, unarudi soko. Mbio, unarudi soko. But you must be very careful about how you are doing it. I'm just talking about work-life balance. Don't glue yourself in the school to the extent that you have forgotten your own home. Jenga kanyumba pale nyumbani. Hapa ni kazi tu, si ndio? Tafuta pesa. Ukitafuta pesa, usiende kuwekea bibi mwingine pale when you have another bibi here. Work-life balance. We know what a teacher earns. So where are you getting money to put somebody's house there and another one is here and you have children? Both houses have children. Where are you getting all that money from? Here, you are digging some gold somewhere, isn't it? And tunaanza kukuchunguza. So balance your life well. When you take a loan knowing that I'm taking a loan going to this. Never take a loan because your friend is taking a loan. Don't take a loan to, anyway, this is not advice on financial management, but I usually tell my friend, if you want to take a loan to build your own big house, 6-bedroom house, you are making a joke of yourself. That is my policy. And I say this because I need to, if it has to be 6-bedroom, I will build a 2-bedroom house. And the other 4 bedrooms, they will be part of what will be giving me money to support my children. See, when I get a 6-bedroom, whom am I competing with? I know what I earn. When I will be paying that loan, it is me to feel the pinch, isn't it? Or I'm thinking like I'm Kikuyu. No. Yes. So I'm only emphasizing on the issue of work-life balance. Don't spend your time here until your husband is chasing you in the house because you cannot cook. What are you doing in school? I will ask you the same. Yes, what are you doing in school? How can you cook? Ukikaa hapa mpaka saa 5 usiku. Na wewe bwana, unakaa hapa mpaka saa 4 usiku unafanya nini? When you're supposed to be at home, sivyo? Kuja tukae huko nyumbani, your children to bring up, sivyo? So that there is work-life balance. Because when you don't balance your life, there are so many other things that are at stake. And make sure you balance that family well. Because people will laugh at you as a teacher when you cannot educate your own child. Can you imagine? When your children are being sent away, when you have no house to say that this is my teacher, watu kijijini wataanza kukusema sema. Now that will be the source of your mental health challenges. Because you will be looking at the others and you'll be saying, this one is ahead of me. Si tulikuwa na huyu college, huyu alifika hapo aje. Na huyu alipandishwa kuwa principal aje. It is you who doesn't know how to balance your life. Is that one clear? Yes. Emotional burden, dealing with students' personal struggles and family issues. Now, our students have very many issues. They will come to you. My dear brothers and sisters, don't carry them on your shoulders. Those are their problems, not your problems. Usianze kulia na wao hapo, unalia kwa nini? I've seen somebody who is brought such issues, and the first thing that she does, she wails with the students. Unalia na students sasa. That, you carry that one as your own burden. you need to go for debriefing as a teacher. Kwanza, who you as a counselor, I hope you will normally go for debriefing.
Yes.
Yes. So that you don't get sick. Because you can easily drift into mental health challenges. Especially the men. When a student comes to you crying, utaona mwanaume ameshindwa kujua what do I do with this one now, because this is a girls' school. They will come to you and they'll come holding you all over, and then you don't want the principal to see that student holding you, and you're like, no, how do I do it? Now that becomes a challenge to you because you don't know whether you are sick and you don't know the interpretation that was done. You carry it all over, thinking that now the deputy saw me, I will be reported. I don't know what is going to happen to me. Now that shida from inside. Talk about it. Talk about it. Because our brothers don't know how to talk about issues. Always don't repress issues. And that's what we are telling the students. Don't repress them. Just talk about them, deal with them, so that these issues of mental health will not become a challenge to you. I'm also sure that even here, there are some of us who don't talk to each other. What conflict issues? Ati sasa huyu ndiye ameniripoti kwa principal, ataniona nitamkanyangia. Huyu ameandika barua ipite through the principal to the county. Principal amekataa kuipeleka because haya. Huyu mwingine amechukua klasi yake. So many issues. And all those issues translate into mental health challenges. And this is just as a result of you being unfair. Why are we unfair to each other? If you need a class, why can't you just come and tell me, I need to complete this part of my work. Can you give me your class? Don't just push yourself into class. Just be fair. Just to avoid the mental health issues. Because all things are as a result of us talking to each other. And therefore, let's stop bullying each other. Especially the old teachers, they are known to bully the young ones. Wale wamezeeka kwa kazi kidogo, wanabuli wale wanaingia, wanawabuli in a very bad way. Unawapata tu kwa class wameingia. And they have no apologies to make. And that is being very unfair. And it happens. Sio hapa? Ni kwingine? Okay, ni kwingine. Now, there is also high expectation from the society of you as a teacher, that you as a teacher, you are used by the society as a model. They look at you and say, hiyo familia iko na mwalimu. Lakini huyo mwalimu hana hata kanyumba. That is the society. Lakini huyo mwalimu hana hata ng'ombe. Huyo mwalimu hana bibi. Hajaolewa. All those issues. So what am I saying? Be a model. I always tell my students where I am, even when you go to drink kwa club, na wewe ni mwalimu, let people see the difference between your drinking and that other person who is drinking next to you, because you are drinking as a teacher. So a teacher must be seen. You drink in a special way. There is a way you handle your things. There is a way in which you deal with your things. There must be a difference. Mwalimu is a very respected person in the society. So I'm simply saying, be a model, such that when people are looking at you, they are seeing a reflection of what they would want to be. Now, when you expose yourself to a lot of traumatic things, you end up into mental health challenges. That is violence. You're living in a very violent environment. Maybe insecurity where you're living. I don't know whether it is secure. Of course, everywhere in Kenya today is very, very insecure. But don't expose yourself into that insecurity. Now, when you go drinking after school and you get to your house at 11, of course, that's a risky behavior. So, you're exposing yourself to insecurity. Ukigongwa alafu kesho unakuja na mapua kama imefura. All of us will be laughing at you because the first thing will be, what time was it? And then when you say that, it's like something like that has happened here. So when we are now interrogating what would have happened, and then you tell us what happened, we are looking at you like you're not a very serious teacher. And that can translate into mental health issues and challenges. And so as teachers, we have so much that we need to be keen on. Now, when it comes to contextual considerations, we have the gender issue, gender differences, where the men sometimes are often referred to as people who repress a lot of information, as I said. And when you repress a lot of information and experiences, you're likely to experience a lot of mental health challenges. And of course, the way we are wired as women, the way I'm talking here is not the same way as my husband would talk. When I'm using 1,000 words, my husband may use 100 words because they look at you, they listen to you. You go with him to a shop, you buy a dress, and you're making your 360 so that he can tell you look like, and he's just looking at you and he's not talking. He's just looking at you and he's not talking. And then you're like, what is wrong with you? I thought you came to help me to choose a dress. And he's looking at you like, can you say? He's not even getting it. And it is simply because of the way they are wired. So what I'm simply saying, when it comes to gender issues and mental health, men are known to repress a lot of information, but we say we talk about information. Share with your confidants. Your confidant can be your wife, can be your sister, your brother, or whoever you consider as a person who can keep this information in confidence. Don't die with it. Why you die? And people can help you. Deal with or share that information with the rest of the members. Now, how does this impact on the learning environment and the learners in general? When we look at the climate of the classroom with a teacher who is going through mental health, now there is a possibility of that class becoming tense. The learners are tense. The learners are disengaged. And the learning becomes mechanical because you are there in that class just to ensure your body is there. But anything else is not there. You're just wondering, why can't that bell be rung so that I go home? Because what I'm doing right now, I'm also not aware of what it is, and I don't care what it really is. I would have given you some exercise to do, but I'll not do that because of time. Now, the other one is that there is a strained student-teacher relationship. Some of you here are very, very unapproachable because I've taught for many years. There are teachers who used to be very unapproachable. You would never see them with a student. They can only be seen with the students in class. So the student-teacher relationship is very strained because of your mental health. You don't know how to deal with the learner's issues. You don't know how to deal with your own issues. And this now affects that relationship. If you are teaching some of these subjects that students consider to be difficult, they will never ask you a question because when they ask you, they already know the kind of an answer that you're going to give them. They already know how you're going to behave. And it is simply because you are going through a mental health challenge. Another problem is that you as a teacher are going to be withdrawn. You are going to withdraw from social interactions, withdrawing from the other teachers. You don't want to be with them. You're just alone, dealing with your own issues. You don't want to talk to them. You don't want, to be found dealing with any other teacher in any activity. There is also a possibility of increased stress and anxiety, which leads to difficulty in you concentrating into what is happening in school and also what is happening in your own home. You have a possibility of fearing to make mistakes. There are some of us who can never try out anything because they fear to make mistakes. That's a sign of mental health issue. I believe in making mistakes because mistakes is part of learning, isn't it? Yes. There are some people who never start to build a house because they are fearing to make a mistake. That my madam will not accept the bedroom to face this direction, the roof, I don't know the kind of a ceiling they would want. You know, all those small excuses. And it is all as a result of fear. The other one is low self-esteem of yourself. There are some of us, much as we are teachers, we have a low self-esteem of ourselves. We cannot stand in front of people to articulate very well what we want or what we need to be done. and that's a sign of you having a mental health challenge. And that is very, very disastrous, because you cannot fear to talk to others and you will produce in the class. The two of them go hand in hand. When you have a high self-esteem of yourself, you hold yourself with a high esteem. You feel that I can manage, I have the ability, I have what it takes. And therefore, you can try out many things. And so, as a teacher, it is important to know some of those things. Now, what are you going to do? What are the practical steps to maintain a healthy mind of the teacher? One, ensure you prioritize self-care. Remember, we started by saying nobody talks to us. Nobody is there for us. And somebody said it is only God. So now that we know it is only God who is there for us, because we take care of the learners and we don't know who takes care of us as teachers, then it is your responsibility, you, and me. You prioritize your self-care. You are very important. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Nobody will do it on your behalf. So take breaks when you need to take breaks over the holidays. And when you need to rejuvenate yourself, do so without having any apologies to make to anybody, because it is all for yourself. Seek help when it is needed. Don't die with your issues. Don't be tortured to the extent that we take you to hospital because you are overwhelmed by your issues, or you end up even resigning because of the issues. Talk. Come and tell me. Probably I'll tell you something that will help you before you get to the point of committing suicide, before you get to the point of running away, before you get to the point of resigning. Probably I can be able to help you. If I cannot help you, I'm sure there's a section in the TSO, in the Ministry of Education, that is concerned with mental health and that you can seek help from. The other item that you can do is set boundaries. Set boundaries. Avoid overworking yourself. If you feel that I've worked to this point and I'm feeling like my mind cannot contain anymore, set boundaries. Don't carry work at home. Me, I don't carry work at home. Personally, I don't carry work at home. I leave my work in the office to start with it the following day. So I must organize my time well in such a way that I will be able to complete what I did not complete yesterday. Why am I saying this? My time at home is my time and my family time. That is where now man and the husband talk and they plan for their tomorrow and they plan for their children and we also cook for them. And like my children say, they were saying when they were young, not now, they were saying, our mom is the best chef. And they used to go with this small thing. To mandasi tulikuwa tunawapikia ndio wabebe for tea at break time. I used to cook for them on Sundays. So my girls used to know, mom is going to do this on Sunday. So the whole week, they have something to carry. So they would go giving to other children in the class and they would say, our mommy is the best. And the other children knew their mommy is the best. And so I have maintained that habit all along. So I don't know whether you encourage your teachers, mwalimu, to carry the papers to mark in the house, and in the house they have small babies, and the papers come when they have been drawn in the because they carry the house. Yeah. So it means that child wants to do something and you're not giving them an opportunity to do so. They are calling for your attention. And here you are with someone because you have been told to mark. Start with the following. Organize your time well. Go home and be with your family. Be a father, be a man. Wachana na kazi ya shule ikae shule. But I'm not telling them to develop bad manners. It's not working. Make sure you organize. That is what I'm saying. Also, practice mindfulness and stress management skills. How can you manage your stress? You can do some exercises. You can do a hobby. You can go to swim. You can go to play a guitar. You can do music. You can play salsa. You can do so many small activities that are there just to allow your mind to be free from things that can distract you, so that you're free from such issues. Provide mental health support where you can, reduce workload where you can. improve working conditions where you can, encourage work-life balance where you can. And as I come to the close, I want to say this. As educators, we hold immense power. As a teacher, you hold a lot of power with you. Remember, I said you can mold or break a child because this child is brought to you to mold. This child is brought to you when they are very young, and as they advance, as they develop, they need your assistance, they need your support to be able to move to the next level. So we must first ensure that our own cup is full before we pour to other people. So make sure your cup is full, your glass must be full. Don't pour your water to another person before yours is full. So I simply say, take care of your mental health before you go to assist another person to take care of themselves. Because if you don't do so to yourself, nobody will care for you. So let me leave you with the words of John Dewey, a pioneer in education, who said, education is not preparation for life. It is not preparation for life. It is life itself. Education is not preparation for life. It is life itself. So, teachers must be alive. And for you to be alive, your mental health needs to be okay. So you need to take care of your own mental health. That is to nurture the best that you can of yourself. Nobody will come to nurture it for you. It all lies on your hands. And the decision and the best decision that you can make for yourself or about yourself is to nurture your own life. And that is what brings me